What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Relationship Talk with Tish. This is a late night check-in. I can't sleep. Need to take this little makeup stuff off my face, but I wanted to pop on and address this Robert Sylvester Kelly being convicted of I think it was 9 charges with 11 different women. I just want to say this. I have close ties to Chicago. And many, many years ago, I watched the tape. I watched the tape because I was such a fan of his that I wanted to believe when he said that it was his brother on the tape and not him. And the only way to do that is to watch the tape. So to tell you how long ago it was, my daughter is 17 and I'm not even sure she was born yet, just to give you a time frame, right? So as I'm watching the tape, I'm in Chicago, I'm watching the tape. The tapes were going around like crazy. Very clear copy. So I'm watching the tape, and what I see is him engaging in sexual activity, of course, with multiple different women. There's several different clips with multiple different women. No threesomes in the portion of the tape that I watched. Just him one-on-one with different women. And there was no doubt, as someone who was a fan and a stan or whatever, I didn't stalk him, but my girl and I used to jokingly say that him and Malik Yoba was our thing back then, the bald head, that kind of thing. I married a bald head. Chris Webber, he was my guy too, but I actually think my husband looks like Chris Webber, but that's another Jerry Springer. So, watching the tape, and then, like I said, it looks like everyone was of age. And initially I was like, what's the big thing going on here? What's really happening? And then there was an image that I will never get out of my head. It was the image of, as a mother of a teen daughter who was very petite growing up. She's an athlete, and so she has gained some muscle mass, but she was very petite. This person in this video, in this particular clip, looked like my daughter at maybe 11. She had about an 11-year-old body frame. Even the baby face. As a mother, as a woman, I could look at her and tell she was a child. What was most disturbing about that clip, though, was that this was clearly not her first time. This wasn't her first rodeo. Forgive the darkness under my eyes, y'all. It's been a day. My mascara is probably running the whole 9 yards, but this wasn't her first rodeo. This was not her first time. That was so hard to wrap my head around. So hard to wrap my head around. So I started looking into the Pied Piper and some of the other things that he would say. And there was another video that surfaced of him saying, they should have gotten me 30 years ago. They can't touch me now, or something to that effect. That surfaced not long ago, probably a couple years ago, a few years ago. Then there was surviving R.Kelly. My honest belief on surviving R.Kelly is that everyone wasn't lying. There were some individuals who subsequent investigation through bloggers or whatever revealed that it was clearly a money grab for them. That I can't wrap my head around, because I had to reconcile that 11-year-old body frame with the testimony from singer Sparkle of how her niece was dropped off by her parents. When I'm watching the video, the initial tape, right? I know some well-to-do people in Chi, and I know some hood chicks. And there was a little bit of both in the room. And what the hood chicks said were, nah, her mom knew all about that. Who are these parents? Where do these kind of people come from, right? It takes a special kind of lowlife to pimp your child out for $1, for fame, for clout. They didn't even call it clout back then. It takes a special kind of lowlife to do that, right? But Sparkle said herself that she would arrive at the studio and her niece was already there. Like, how'd you get here? Or mom dropped me off, or dad dropped me off. Why are you dropping your child off with some grown man? Why are you not staying there with them? Why does someone have to tell you that? Whether he had an alleged underage marriage with Aaliyah or not, why would someone have to tell you as a mother? Why would your mama bear not just kick in innately and you decide that you are not going to drop your teen or tween daughter off with a grown man who, according to others, had a bed in the middle of the studio? I guess the parents didn't see that because they just dropped at the door. Let me tell you something. I know a little bit about something about parents that drop people off at the door, drop their kids off at the door. It's just, as long as you out of my hair, it's cool. Or if you could come up with a couple dollars, that's cool too. I know some of them too. My husband has had to tell me, I don't like blank's dad way of parenting, so she can't roll with him. Because he drops off at the door and rolls out. My husband's going inside, making introductions, seeing what the lay of the land is, entrance out, exits with the bathrooms. You know what I mean? We in 2021, people. Now that wasn't 2021, but today there are still people that are dropping their kids off and just rolling out. Why have kids if you're not going to fully parent? It is not an easy responsibility by no stretch of the imagination, but it's a responsibility, and it's an honor, and it's a gift that God gave you, and it needs to be taken seriously. So I know that there are going to be a whole bunch of people screaming, protesting, whatever, blogging about how there was a conspiracy to take another black man down. And I will say this. I do believe that there are some money grabbers that slid into the living or surviving R.Kelly. They slid their way in there for their 15 minutes of fame, got their coins, and they on their way. Right? I believe that. But they all weren't lying. Parents, we have a responsibility to prevent something so tragic from happening to our children. Because once they're exposed to such unscrupulousness, you can't undo that. Once they see certain things, you can't undo that. So it's our jobs to make sure they don't see or experience these things. We don't wait until they tell us or pray that they tell us that something's wrong to start parenting. No, we should not be putting them in a position where they could be violated. So, to the low life characters that could and would pimp your child out for $1, I pray that they come after you next with. Sorry about that. I hope you guys can still hear me. I pray they come after you next with charges. With regards to going after Aaliyah's parents, Aaliyah's gone. That's pain enough. That's pain enough. Let God deal with Aaliyah's parents if they were willing participants in what was going on, which I don't happen to believe because there was a push for an annulment. So if they were okay with it, why not ride it out, right? There would be advantages of being Robert Sylvester Kelly's wife at that age and with her talent. So I don't necessarily jump on a narrative that Aaliyah's parents knew, but I don't have a heaven to send them to or hell to put them in either. So I'm not going to speak on that. What I will speak on is that I believe that the only reason why R. Kelly, Robert Sylvester Kelly, was allowed to maneuver like he did for so long was because of money, was because of the people around him supporting his shenanigans, and was because the people he was violating and destroying were young black girls. Young black girls. As Monique said it best, we're not at the bottom of the totem pole anymore. We're beneath the totem pole. And we must begin to change that trajectory, that imagery, and take those coats of beneath the totem pole, those coats, those jackets, those bonnets. We need to take them off of our young girls and reinforce their beauty, their queendom, their princesses. To the jury that had to endure that, bless you too. R. Kelly, Mr. Pied Piper of R&B, you deal with God for what you did to so many lives. But I want to tell y'all this too. Not long ago, there was a versus, and I'm not even going to say the name, But the person got up to sing, and his song started, "You may be young, but you're ready, ready to learn. You're not a little girl, you're a woman. Okay, take my hand." Yeah. So, for those that say that R. Kelly has sang about what he was doing for a long time, can we really distinguish between artistry and real life? If so, there are probably a lot of other people out there that have had their escapades with young girls. We know many of them sang about it for years and years and years and years. That's a thing for a lot of men, which is sick. So I'm going to close on this. Living in 2021 in a world where human trafficking is, some will say, at its highest, know this and teach your young girls. All young girls aren't snatched off the street. Some of them are walking away with young men who haven't been vetted to be in their presence. They are paying our young men and even young girls to bring other young girls back to trap houses, basically. The real version of a trap house, where they're trapped in a house, unable to leave, and made to give sexual favors for money that they never see. I've always said if I was going to prostitute, I would not need a pimp. I'm too headstrong to sell my body and give the money to somebody else. So they changed the game up a little bit. Instead of having them on the corners, they get a little drug house and they have them in the house. Well, it might not be a drug house. We don't know where they're keeping them. But we know that a lot of our girls are missing. A lot of our girls are falling subject to not the celebrity, but just hanging out, being cool, smoking weed, drinking, whatever. I hear stories of the girls climbing out the windows to go meet boys. Listen, parents, if that's your daughter, get them help immediately. Immediately. Because they could be subject to walking into a situation that they can't walk out of. So again, to all the survivors, I pray that you are now able to begin to heal now that this monster of a musical genius has been found guilty. To those who lied, for whatever reason, you gotta deal with God on that. My God handles those kind of people. And to those parents who just aren't parenting, but you know where your daughters are right now, where your sons are right now, tomorrow's a new day. Start tomorrow. It's kind of late starting late in the game, but better late than never. May God bless and keep each and every one of you. Thank you for watching. Be kind to one another. You never know what someone else may be going through. May God bless and keep you. Thanks for watching. Peace. Boop.